regular meeting of the Garfield Mayor and Council for June 24th, 2025. Forgot to give you the thumbs up. Are you good? Okay. Mayor, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Garfield Mayor and Council for June 24th, 2025 to order at 6:03 p.m. On roll call, council members Rigoloso, currently absent. Delaney. Here. Deputy Mayor Kane.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Mayoral Advisor Raymond.
Here.
Mayor Garnto.
Here.
We have a quorum. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual meeting notice in the Record and Herald News and by posting such notice in the office of the city clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 2nd, 2025 and published on January 7th, 2025. At this time, if we can please stand for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you can please remain standing for a prayer to be given by Pastor John Chukowski. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, thank you, Pastor.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the opportunity to serve our city. We ask for your blessing upon the mayor, deputy mayor, mayoral advisor, deputy mayor, council members, city manager, and all the city staff as they work to improve the lives of our citizens. May we be mindful of your presence in our deliberations and strive to make decisions that reflect your love and compassion. We ask for your wisdom and guidance as we discuss the issues facing our city. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and to work together in unity for the betterment of all. May your love and your peace be with us as we proceed. And God, we ask you to give guidance to the President, our national leaders, our world leaders, to bring resolve to this tense moment in history. Continue to bless our city of Garfield, the state of New Jersey, and the United States of America. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor John.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask for an approval of meeting minutes, the June 10th, 2025 work session meeting and executive session meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Delaney, seconded by Deputy Mayor Raymond. On roll call, Councilmembers Rigoloso, absent. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. And for the public record, Councilman Rigoloso has arrived at 6:06 p.m. Okay, next we have our ordinances being read on first reading. Resolution R-299-25, introduced ordinance 3085 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the undertaking of roof improvements at the Department of Public Works building in by and for the city of Garfield County, Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $625,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard at a meeting held on July 22nd, 2025 at 5 p.m. or as soon thereafter, same could be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard, and be further resolved that the city clerk be, and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law for members of the public and the mayor and council. This is a bond ordinance to make repairs at the DPW building, primarily related to their roof, which is now becoming hazardous. To that effect, we also have an emergency resolution on our consent agenda, which will allow us to make those repairs in a more timely manner, as opposed to having to wait until the adoption of the bond and the estoppel period. Both were approved by our auditor, CFO, and our engineer has been on site at the DPW building and can attest to the emergency conditions. So this is just the introduction of the bond to get that work done. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, seconded by Mayor Garnto. On roll call, Councilmember Rigoloso. Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion Resolution R-300-25, introduced ordinance 3086 on first reading, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 164 Garbage, Rubbish, and Refuse of the City of Garfield Code," be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard at a meeting held on July 22nd, 2025 at 5 p.m. or soon thereafter, the same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard, and be it further resolved that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. I will defer to our city attorney for a brief synopsis of this ordinance.
That's the 300-25?
Yes.
Okay. So this is basically just an ordinance to preclude third parties from going out. When you put the garbage out, there's been complaints that folks are coming around and going through it, looking for recycling or valuables or whatever. And this is going to preclude that, and that would be a violation of the ordinance unless they have the permission of the city, or they have, of course, have the permission of the owner. If they don't, they could be summoned and stopped. No, the city could, I imagine, under a license scenario where someone's a reclamation person from the state, they could allow someone to go and do that, but they would have to register with the city clerk or the city manager. And of course, anybody can do it if the owner says it's my garbage. Go ahead. If you want to let them, absolutely. But we understand this is happening at night.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Yeah, if I can interject real quick, I've seen it on Jewel Street. Other people have called me. They're going around in vans. They're letting about 10 people out of the van, and they're going up and down the streets, rummaging through the garbage for the recyclables. Now, again, if, like our council just said, if there's permission from the homeowner, go for it. I think it's another quality of life issue that we want to curb, no pun intended, but also it creates, it creates opportunity. If you see we don't know who these people are. They're not licensed. You see a car door open, we don't know if they're going to go in. You see a door open, a jar on a house, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think this should be happening in our city. And
Also, not only going on the curb, they're going on the side of people's houses, going to the recycling bin, and when you go on someone's property, it's not
It's permitted.
no,
I could just read from, excuse me, Mayor.
Go
I
ahead,
could just
sir.
read from the language of the ordinance. No person shall remove or disturb any garbage, receptacles, recyclable materials, refuse, and/or rubbish placed out for collection unless he/she is the owner thereof or has authority from the owner of the city of Garfield.
And if I could just add too, some of the complaints that I received, not only that they don't like the people going in their garbage, whether it be on curb or on the side of their house, it's also waking up their young children because they have pets. The dogs start barking at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's an inconvenience. And again, quality of life which we want to make better for our residents.
Is there a motion on the ordinance? Motion by Delaney, seconded by Regola. On roll call, Councilmembers Regola. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
yes,
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to ordinances being read on second reading. Resolution R-301-25. Introduced ordinance 3079 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Garfield amending City Code Part 2 General Legislation by adding a new chapter 241 Dangerous Properties, Buildings, or Structures," was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance pass on final reading to members of the public and the governing body. This ordinance, as it states in its title, relates to dangerous properties, buildings, or structures. It gives the city authority to deem a property hazardous for it to be demolished.
Yeah, that's absolutely, yeah, as the city manager indicated, this is a statutory section that provides for enablement of this ordinance, that if there's dilapidated or dangerous structures, the city manager, through any of the city agencies and/or the city engineer, can go onto property, can look at it, can make recommendations as to remediation. We put the owners on notice. Ultimately, it can be fixed up through demolition. And then ultimately, the cost of that can be assessed against the property.
And if I could interject again, this is another quality of life issue that we're attending. We've gone around, most of the council here, sitting up here today, and we've gotten a list of properties that are, some are like unbelievably unsafe. And it's been for years. And we got to do something about it, because God forbid if a child gets in that property, that's not a good thing. So being that this is second reading, we got to open up to the public?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this ordinance and this ordinance only, 3079, will now be open to the public for any comments or concerns. If you have any, God bless. Step up to the mic, just state your name and address, please.
All right.
This is only pertaining to this ordinance, and this ordinance
Yeah.
only will have a public comment at the end of the meeting for general inquiries. Dangerous structures, allowing the city to determine if the structure is unsafe or dilapidated, and require that it be taken down.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end, you can come up for your comments. Anybody else? If there's no comments on this, I'm going to close the public session for comments on this ordinance and hand it back over to you, Ms. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make, okay,
A
Kevin.
motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, second.
Me?
Seconded by Regola-Sto, and roll call, Councilmembers Regola-Sto, Delaney,
I'm slow today.
Deputy Mayor Kane, Deputy Mayor Raymond,
Yes.
Mayor Garfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-302-25, introduced ordinance 3080 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk and ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of Renovations at the Spring Street Little League Field in by for the city of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,385,000, pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes. In anticipation of the issuance of such bonds was introduced and passed at a meeting held on June 10, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance passed on final reading. For the governing body and the public, this is the bond ordinance for the project at Spring Street Little League, and of which we have 2 grants as well to go towards.
Good. All right, being that this is a second reading, I'm going to open up to the public once again for this ordinance only, 3080. If you have any comments, come up to the mic, state your name and address, please. Okay, if no comments, I'm going to close the public session of this ordinance and hand it back over to our city manager, Mr. Delaney.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Mayor Garnto, seconded by Delaney. Roll call, Councilmembers Regola-Sto. Regola-Sto? Delaney?
Yeah, spoke to us about that new type of turf that'll be going in here. Yes. We'll discuss it, beforehand. I just have a few questions about it.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
I was going to come back with a presentation, have you guys select which one.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Deputy Mayor Kane? Deputy Mayor Raymond?
Yes.
Mayor Garnto?
Before I vote, but Kevin, I thought we did discuss the turf. I think the one that we were discussing of possibly using or using was a cooler. Okay,
Not as hot.
Not as hot.
Next generation.
okay.
This is exact.
I vote yes. I vote yes. Yes, yes.
Motion carries. R-303-25, introduced ordinance 3081 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of the Banta Avenue Sewer Improvement Project Phase 2 in by for the city of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $855,000, pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, June 10, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance will be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance pass on final reading for members of the public and the governing body. This bond is to appropriate funding for the paving of Fanta Avenue now that the sewer improvements have been finalized. Again, we have 2 grants to go towards the paving. We also had 2 grants that went towards the sewer improvements.
Okay, being that this is a second reading, we're going to open this ordinance up to, this ordinance is only to the public, 3081. If anybody from the public has any comments, come up to the mic over here and state your name and address, please. Okay, if no public comments, I'm going to close the public comment section and hand it back over to our city manager, Ms. Delaney.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Mayor Garnto, seconded by Rigoloso. On roll call, council members Rigoloso. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
yes,
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. Before I continue, can you just double check the audio of our stream? Someone from the public said that it's coming in and out, just so that you know.
So the audio quality is good at like half the mics. I am noticing some choppiness with your mic.
With mine? Okay.
Is it possible? I don't know if it's an issue with being close enough or.
Got it.
Well, here, you want this?
So just make sure you do utilize the microphones, although it seems to be me tonight. All right, so Resolution R-304-25, introduced ordinance 3082 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Bonds Ordinance to Authorize the Resurfacing of Harrison Avenue in by for the city of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $695,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, June 10, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance pass on final reading for members of the public and the governing body. This is the bond ordinance for the repaving of Harrison Avenue. Both ourselves and Lodi received a grant from NJDOT to cover the costs. It will be a shared project to follow after the lead line replacement project. Once that is completed, we also received congressional funding for that lead line replacement.
All right, this ordinance will also be open to the public for any comments or concerns. If you have any comments or concerns about ordinance 3082, step up to the mic and state your name and address, please. Okay, I don't see anybody coming up, so I'm going to close the public comment section of this ordinance and hand it back over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion,
Okay, I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Raymond, seconded by Delaney. On roll call, council members Rigoloso. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
yes,
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. R-305-25, introduced ordinance 3083 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Bonds Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of Neighborhood Preservation Program Improvements Along the Passaic Street Corridor, Phase 5, in bind for the city of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $160,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, June 10, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance pass on final reading for members of the public and the governing body. This is the bond that correlates to the neighborhood preservation program in conjunction with Greater Bergen for the improvements that have occurred over the last, now going on 5 years, on the Passaic Street corridor. There have been some facade improvements, planters to be installed. One of what they plan to do with this last phase is music to be played in the neighborhood, some bike racks and things of that sort to beautify the area.
Okay, this ordinance will also be open to the public for any comments or concerns. Ordinance 3083, and that ordinance only. If anybody has any comments or concerns, step up to the mic and state your name and address, please. Okay, if no comments or concerns, I'm going to close that portion of the public comment section of this and hand it back over to our city manager, Mr. Laney.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion? Motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, seconded by Rigoloso. On roll call, council members Rigoloso. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, and lastly, for our ordinance, Resolution R-306-25, introduced ordinance 3084 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Appropriate an Additional Sum of $175,000 for the replacement of lead water service lines along Harrison Avenue and MacArthur Avenue in by for the water utility of the city of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such additional appropriation and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance pass on final reading for members of the public and the governing body. This bond is to appropriate additional funds for the lead line replacement project. Because of an issue that our engineer located where additional service lines were needed at the intersection of Harrison Avenue and Outwater Lane, as discussed at our work session meeting on June 10th.
Okay, this ordinance will now be open for any public comments or concerns. This ordinance only, 3084. If you have any public comments or concerns, step up to the mic, state your name and address. All right, I don't see anybody coming up, so I'm going to close the public comment section for this ordinance and hand this meeting back over to our city manager, Ms. Delaney.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mayor Garnto, seconded by Delaney. On roll call, council members Rigoloso. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes our ordinances for the evening. Next, we have our consent agenda. Before I ask for a motion, are there any questions? I would like to note to Deputy Mayor Raymond that there are no bills for Passaic Valley on the bills list this evening.
Okay, thank you.
All renewals, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah. No questions? Go ahead.
No further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, I have a motion by Rigoloso, seconded by Mayor Garnto. On roll call, council members Rigoloso. Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane. Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
And Mayor Garnto.
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes my portion of the agenda this evening, Mayor. I will turn it over to you.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open up this section of the meeting for any public comments. If you have any comments, just step up to the mic, state your name and address, and go ahead. Whoever.
As of right now, yes.
I've lost 2 tires, and the cost to repair 2 rims of $197 each. One on Outwater Lane, which is the county's responsibility, one on Semel Avenue, across the street from approximately 197 Semel Avenue, behind the baseball field. I never sought out reimbursement from the city because I just didn't want to do that. But the county, and it's actually the water company, not public service, is lagging its feet, so I'm not been reimbursed for 2 relatively new tires. They were not even 2 months old.
Rim,
Side.
sidewall? Yeah.
Okay, sidewalk. How do I go about seeking reimbursement from the city for the Semel Avenue damage?
So we had spoken about this at a previous meeting, and I had sent you our tort claim form to your email at that time. Well, I had, guided you, for how to submit there, but I also included the city's tort claim form because you had mentioned the Semel Avenue as well. So I can resend that to you. You'll just have to fill it out, and we'll need the paperwork. I don't know how long ago it was now. There is usually a time frame that you have to submit by. But yeah, so I'll resend it to you, but double check your emails. Okay, so I'll resend that to you, but I did send that email. So just look from edelaney@garfieldnj.org. Our budget year is January 1. You're welcome.
Anybody else from the public, comments?
It is, let me just raise it,
The what?
or maybe swap them out.
Give me, Rich, you got your mic? Give it to Aaron.
Okay.
Huh?
Let me see.
Okay, better. Okay, so I have a couple of things I wanted to talk about. The first one, last time I was here, I was stating something about loud cars waking me up in the middle of the night, my heart racing because they're so loud and they're backfiring. Well, we have this vehicle now that comes up our street at 7 a.m. and it is so loud that it literally, causes alarms to go off on the cars going all the way up Summit Avenue. It's insane. And the guy lives on Van Winkle, but he has to come up our street, and it's ridiculous. So I know you said that there was some type of force or task force that's going to be out. I haven't seen anybody. I don't know when that's supposed to happen, but
Well, I could tell you it's not at 7 in the morning. It's usually at night, the task force.
Over the
Okay.
weekends, Friday or Saturday, they've been all.
and what time do they go? Do they go all night? Do they go an hour?
They're depending on how busy and what their specific task is for that night, they're out for 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
But they are given specific tasks, whether it be focusing on, speeding or, liquor establishments being openly, just
Right.
kind of.
It depends on the detail. The
Yeah.
actual detail, the actual detail depends, that'll dictate the hours spent on it and the time. Like if something's happening and it's a common occurrence at 7 in the morning, we could probably get an officer. Regular patrol to look
Oh,
into
it's
that.
like every morning, 7 o'clock every morning. It doesn't fail. It's
think I know.
7 o'clock every morning. I don't know, maybe it would be better to get an ordinance in the town to stop these people with their backfiring cars. That would be an overall thing because they fly up Van Winkle all hours of the night, backfiring their cars, loud exhaust. There's no reason for that.
You're 100% correct. I mean, I live on Jewel Street, and
Yeah.
I hear it all night long
I bet.
from 6 o'clock at night till probably 3 in the morning, and a lot of it is coming from Wawa, the clientele that comes out of there.
Yeah.
And it's actually very startling. I mean, you're sitting there, all of a sudden, you're like,
It's-
was something just shot?
Wow,
It's-
yeah.
And again, we got to look into the legality. I know as far as with noise, the police officer's got to go around with a decibel gun. It's got to hit a
I
certain
know.
decimal. But these type of mufflers that you're referring to,
Yeah.
it definitely is a nuisance. To me, as far as I'm concerned, it's a quality of life issue.
Yes.
And I will do anything, me personally, in my power to look into the legality, how we could, you know.
I would love that. I mean, you know, you're right, quality of life. Yeah.
Is it possible, council, for you, you have a ring camera,
Yes,
if you have the car,
we do.
maybe,
On video.
maybe the police could go over there and just say, hey, buddy, stop driving up and down the streets like a maniac. Because of what you don't care.
Is that the one that you sent this week? Okay.
And it's-
Deputy Mayor Kane had sent, I guess it's the same vehicle yesterday, which was sent to the police department, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He lives right.
And
right there on
they
Bailey.
don't, and just to clarify, Councilman Riggs, they don't speed. It's just the way, I mean, I've seen them roll down Jewel Street at like 5 miles an hour, and it's it just pops.
Yeah,
you
that's
can-
what we gotta, right.
I hate those things, I hate the motorbikes, I hate the.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what we should do is write a letter or something, a resolution to our governor, to our legislators, saying how we believe all these things affect our quality.
Without a doubt.
Wow.
They could still issue, the police officers can still issue a nuisance violation without reference to any of the decibel meters or any of the noise, any of the objective noise criteria. And they can issue those basically just on hearing it.
But they all over the state.
Sure is. That's- Police
Can they
officers do
issue
that.
that on a moving vehicle?
Police officers,
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you could hear and you see a video, you hear the amount of noise those mufflers come up. I mean,
But does our nuisance ordinance allow them to govern over vehicles? I thought it was just residential nuisances.
well, I'll give an opinion in closed session if you'd like, but I believe that there's sufficient ordinances on the books to issue nuisance ordinances. In general, if a police officer feels that a vehicle is extraordinarily loud, or a person is particularly unruly, or whatever the situation may be. Imagine someone walking down the street screaming, that's a nuisance ordinance. So I believe that that's available.
I'll just go and respect and disagree, because if the officer doesn't hear it, perhaps he's going to give someone a ticket.
well,
He can get a complaining witness.
yeah, well, with a situation like that, the complainant would sign a complaint. Because there's certain things that the officer does have to witness. You're correct in saying that. I believe this may be one of them, but, I mean, all you got to do is just watch them take off and just listen to the muffler. It's ridiculous.
day.
But Renee, I could assure you that we're going to definitely look into this, because that's another one of the quality of life things that were
Right.
discussed in closed session. But we got to really nail it down, how we
Right,
can
and this
legally do
nuisance
this.
thing, I'm sorry, I don't think that's going to fly, because it's just going to continue. You know, what I think should go is an ordinance against these. They have to remove them from their car. They're going to have to do something to get it down to a normal car level, you know, not to, that's a nuisance. And what about these people? Quality of life, a nuisance? You know, what, do you got to call the police every time you hear this car? No, there should be an ordinance where it is taken off their car, if that's possible.
I don't,
You
we
know
got to
what I'm saying?
find, if it's not illegal, there's no way we can enforce something like that. But,
Problem is if they're coming from out of town.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's really annoying. It's not only annoying, it is, you know, it could cause someone to have a heart attack. And that's, I'm not even,
No, it's-
I'm not
I-
exaggerating.
listen,
When you wake
it's
up
loud.
at 3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 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 I'm telling you, my heart was like racing, and I couldn't get back to sleep. It was really bad. Now, can you imagine if someone has a heart condition? They could really have a heart attack. I'm not even joking about this. It is a quality of life issue.
You know, I don't even know how those mufflers work. I don't know if you could purposely make it go like that, or I think you do. You have to know what you're doing. I think you can actually pull out of a neighborhood nice and calm and wait until you get on the highway and you can play with your little muffler.
Yeah.
Because I know, listen, I know some motorcycle, I know some motorcycle riders that are that conscientious of how loud their bike is, and you want to have a loud bike, especially when you're on the highway, because you want to be noticed.
Right.
But when they're pulling out of their driveway, they're very, very slow, and you
Yes.
don't have to hear the muffler on the.
Right. And I think they are conscious, and I believe they do it on purpose, and they could be stopped, with an ordinance saying that they can't do it in this
Renee,
town.
I will assure you, I can
know.
assure you, we're going to look into this, I'm telling you.
I
mean,
appreciate it.
believe me, what you're saying,
Yeah, I mean, it affects everybody here.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody's heard this. Right.
yeah, no, the
Yeah,
dogs, the
except
animals go crazy.
And it's a young guy, he's like maybe 20s, he's,
Joe just put one on his car?
we could.
I don't think so, but it's just,
Give you the, yeah.
If it's who
Yeah.
I think it is, that's
I'm
not going to
gonna-
work, trust me.
Richie, the next time I see you over there, I'm going to give you his address. You'll see the black BMW right
If
there.
it's who I think it is on Van Winkle.
Yeah. Every morning.
No.
But, okay, so.
Is that your mom? Is everything all right?
I-
Oh. Look at your wife, really? Okay.
okay, for, you're leaving, Councilman? Okay, for the public record, Councilman Delaney is leaving at 6:39
Wait, here?
PM. I got all the votes for the 4 individuals, so I'm good.
All right.
That's okay. Oh, that's important.
Anything else?
Yeah, so, I guess the next thing, all right, I got the loud cars, the garbage situation. So we got this letter a couple months back threatening us, the town, that you better clean up your garbage, and so I was like, I got that letter and I ran out and got this cover thing for my garbages. Looks really nice. Everything's nice and orderly. I put my garbage in there. I obey. And I look across the street on Van Winkle, and this whole alleyway yesterday filled with garbage, just overflowing with garbage. And I'm like, why, my neighbor too, my neighbor went out and bought one. We're all trying to be compliant. We're trying to be good. We're trying to make Garfield a better place to live. I've been here for 30 friggin' years more, and I'm just trying to, I'm obeying. Why are these people getting away with this? Where is that person that's supposed to be riding around? I remember when my grass, how those little things pop up?
Dandelions?
Yeah, no, not even. They were like little weeds, but they popped up. And the guy came to my house and slapped this orange sticker on my brand new door. Let me tell you, I gave it to him because that orange sticker did not peel off. It was a brand new door. And you should have saw how it was terrible. But anyway, he gave me a summons because these little things shot up. My grass wasn't high. It was just those little weeds. And it was raining for 3 days prior. So I called him. I gave him my 2 cents. Like, it just rained for 3 days. I didn't get a chance, whatever.
Do you have the address? I mean, not that you have to say it now, but you.
Yes, yeah.
If you
I got
give me the
pictures, too.
address,
I got pictures too.
so we don't use like orange stickers anymore.
Thank
We
God.
we do have 3. We do have 3 individuals, and that would fall under property maintenance.
Okay.
And we had sent out and we had to do it in sections. Those letters. I
Right.
know we had some residents that were like, my area got it, but not this area.
Oh.
So we sent out those letters in sections and zones.
I mean, I got it too, and I didn't know that you got one either, so we wouldn't know who gets these.
Yeah, so they have been issuing, you just might not know or see it.
They ain't gotten one.
But please feel free
yeah.
to send me any problem addresses because, we'll keep hammering them. I mean, I bother property maintenance myself with one of my neighbors because.
So do I.
Should I
It's-
call property
too.
maintenance and
Yes.
say, hey,
Yeah,
look at
cool.
this?
Yeah, or you can,
I can do
I
that.
don't know if you're good with email, but if you email me, I forward it right to them and it's addressed.
We
He
tell
does.
people all the time, instead of complaining, just call property maintenance
Yeah.
because unfortunately, it's 3 people, they can't get around to every single house, and then it
Oh, that ain't gonna be gone.
right to the point, and
Yeah.
they'll, you could give them a warning,
I,
or issue them to take.
I do think email's best because they're on the road a lot, so they might not answer the phone. So, if you email me, I'll forward it and take care of it for you.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm sure those houses, I know what you're talking about, I'm sure they got one as well. We just don't know who gets it. It's not like you get a list that says by the block.
So just random people got this thing where you have to get.
No, eventually
or you're
the
saying
entire time.
summonses.
The summons or a warning.
Okay, oh, okay, that's what he's talking, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Because they don't have orange stickers anymore.
And you wouldn't know if someone got a summons either.
Right, I got you.
Like they're gonna,
Right, no, I understand. Okay, good. And then, hold on one second. Let's see. And yesterday, it was strange, but I saw this guy, I guess he was picking out, because it was recycling on Van Winkle, he was just picking people's garbage. I guess he's going to take
You just
the-
came a little late.
You just
Renee.
get, yeah, we just passed an ordinance on that.
Okay, good. Because
care of.
yeah,
Prohibit that, yeah.
I never saw that before, honestly.
But did you see him get out of a van, like about 10 people?
No, just one guy.
Okay.
He had, you know the things you.
The light?
No. It
The
was
carts,
like-
the carts.
The carts
Yeah.
from Home Depot.
Was it you, Jesus?
The big ones that you push, like a huge one.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had bags and bags.
We just passed an ordinance prohibiting that, and,
Okay,
you know.
Yeah, and then, a big one for me is, I know I haven't really been complaining to the board itself, but there is an issue on my street with parking. There's a house that does not have any driveway. They have 6 cars, and I believe 5 is the max. But the 6th car that they have is registered as overnight parking continuously. I don't know how this happened, but the cops never give them tickets.
because you're allowed to, if you have 6 drivers, you're allowed, I want to have 6 drivers soon. I'm allowed to register.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm going to be allowed to register 6 cars. The law, even though they say 5, they'll allow me because I got 6 people in the family that drive. Of course you have, I don't know.
This car's not registered. It's not registered.
Yeah,
There's
we
only
have,
5 cars registered. The 6th car is on the police, like when they come around, they just see that it's overnight parking. So they never question this car, but this car should not be, I'm sure you're aware of this. This car should not be there every night. And then,
It's been issued.
I know, I saw that. That van, I've never seen that van.
Renee,
Ren-
forward over
Renee,
the
we-
concern to Ms. Delaney.
Took care of it already. I sent the info to
Yeah.
Aaron, and it's taken care
That
of.
car has been issued
one she said,
summonses,
the
maybe
one
not
she-
every night, but I spoke with the police, it was issued in the past. And they applied for a permit, got denied. I'm not gonna get into the
Okay,
semantics
yeah,
as to why. So with that being said, the police department has been notified to, to keep an eye on that area and that specific car. Yeah. It's the same one that, yeah.
And handicap parking is my last one. Handicap parking. Many years ago, not even 10 years ago, I applied for a handicap parking sticker for my mother. She died when she was 95, but she
Oh, bless
was
her.
up there.
Oh, bless
It was hard because at some point she couldn't even walk. They denied me because they said I had a driveway.
Yeah, but
Is that any more or no? Because my neighbor across the street
Ye-
has a handicap sticker, and they have a driveway that can hold 6 cars.
No.
What?
Hold on, no,
Yeah,
I'm not letting you go back down that.
Okay,
Because I know who you're talking about.
okay,
And it's a 4-car driveway.
Yeah.
And the handicap spot is for girls, apparently need you with a neck on down, that uses a wheelchair.
right.
So she never gets in and out of there without that. They need the space. They finally got that spot.
Well, maybe she,
Mother
what,
being 95 years old, I needed,
were you privy to the young lady that had the handicap? Were you privy to that even? What Mr. Riggs just said?
I see her across
Oh,
the
okay,
street, yes.
okay.
They use a special van for her, and that house has 4 drivers, 4 cars, 4 spots, and then there's the handicap spot for that family. And that's what that van's for. They need the space where that van opens up and everything like that. The way the van opens
Yeah,
up.
I don't know what.
There's no van there. There's never a van. There's a van that picks her up, but, oh, but there's a car there.
Yeah, I'm saying, what about, I don't think she was talking about a van. She was talking
No.
about a car.
I'm just talking about a spot.
Oh, so what?
There is still an ordinance in place that the police
I know what you're saying,
follows
to pick
when
her up.
approving
That's why
or
it's there.
granting
I get it, and drop her
handicap
off.
parking spaces. We actually got more strict over the years, because we would have a council meeting and there would be, parking is difficult in town. So we would get, 12 spaces per meeting. So there is still an ordinance and rules that are applicable to everyone. What the exact rules are and the determination, I can't speak on. But they, do still follow an ordinance. And now people actually, there used to not be a renewal. Now you have to renew every 2 years just so that people don't take advantage of these situations.
So you're saying it's changing that if there's 6 drivers in the household, then there could be six cars. They'll be allowed 6.
No, I'm talking about the handicap parking.
No, we're talking handicap
Yeah.
now.
Right, all right, so I'm going back to the driving, for each
That
car.
6th vehicle does not have a permit.
Where is this? The handicap.
Right.
That one that you,
Will it, will, in the
Oh, okay.
future, if there's 6 drivers in the
I mean, they would
house?
have to change the ordinance.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right now it's only 5.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, the handicap thing just threw me off because I tried to get one for my mother to park in front of the house and I couldn't. Oh, go ahead.
This is a legit handicapped person.
My mother was legit handicapped. What are you talking
And
about?
rest in peace, she's gone.
Yes.
So I bring this up, because you're sour that you didn't get it
No,
6 years ago. That's what
I
I'm trying to
just
say.
wanted
So
to
now
know.
Mr. Riggs or Renee, let's not banter like this.
I just wanted to know what
Listen,
the ordinance was. Did it change? That's all I asked. I just wanted to know if it changed.
I didn't know why I needed to come up.
Because I just wanted to know if it changed. That's all.
you know what? And
It seemed like you were just sour grapes, you didn't get one 6 years ago. Well,
she, you know what? And I'm being as honest as I can be. I didn't sense any sour grape. She asked a question about her mom that they didn't get it and why I didn't even know there was any handicapped person.
The girls are paraplegic, neck down, and never had a handicap spot. They finally got one after years, and she wants to bring it up for whatever reason she needs to bring it up for sour grapes.
All right, all right.
Play that game. Don't play that game.
All right. You know what, Renee, we do give a 5-minute time, but your questions were
Great.
heard loud, and
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome, Renee. Anybody else from the public have any comments, concerns? Come up to the mic, state your name and address, please.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
I live at 176 Prospect Street. I think most of everyone knows me. Hi, Aaron. Good evening.
I still need your name for the public
Yes.
record, sorry.
Maria Marbet, Marbet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And my neighbor, she emailed you, new mayor. She emailed you yesterday about the flooding on our street. And we're just trying to get some answers or
Perfect man right here.
of how we can mitigate the flooding. And we know that you guys did work and there was a project on the street to fix the street but I have pictures for everyone. It flooded again, about 4 feet of water, Juneteenth, 10th.
Really quick, what street, what's the address?
176 Prospect.
So 176
Between Lanza
Prospect
and
Street.
Semmel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, between Lanza and.
And apologize to your neighbor, because I sent an email, and I sent it to the wrong woman. But I know exactly what you're talking about, but he's the perfect man to speak about this right now. Go ahead, finish up your complaint and show him the pictures and stuff, so he's our engineer.
So, yeah, so he
Oh.
has the pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, see, okay.
Yeah.
You sent something out about it too, right? Didn't
Yeah,
you,
him.
Kevin? Yes. That's what I wanted to send to the woman that emailed me, but I sent it to somebody else, his response.
Yeah, she was in on it, her neighbor.
I saw
Kevin,
that
just
after the
if you can
fact, after I
use the
sent it to the wrong
microphone.
person.
When you speak, Kevin, if you could just turn on your mic, since we're on live.
Yeah, so we just want to know that with the project that happened already, what was done, and how are we going to mitigate the flooding in the future? Because obviously, it's not fixed.
Give him that mic. Yeah. You got another mic, Rich, over there? Gave all your mics away?
It's on.
Testing, okay.
I don't know.
Prospect Street has the benefit of the DOT grant, and when we were doing the work, just an FYI, the city probably 25 years ago swapped out all of the water main on Palisade Avenue, between Central Avenue and River Avenue, all the way down. So we have a 12-inch water line that moves water north-south around the city. And over time, what we do is we not only fix water services, we also put in oversized water mains to try to move water around. And unlike Lanza Avenue, there's a condition of low pressure, low water pressure for fire lines. So when we went to go to your street, we also included connecting to where the water main terminates, 12-inch water main terminates at the intersection of Palisade and Central. We went one block over and Central, and then that Prospect to land connected into that line. The idea being that it would help fire protection as well as the road, concrete, what we have to deal with grant. When we went to go to the road job, last year we got flooded out. And so we went and we televised the storm lines in the area. And we found that the storm lines actually go in two different directions. On Lanza, they go west, down towards down towards Upper Lumber, and on Prospect, they go south. I believe they go down one block, not west, but they go in two different directions. And there's inlets, there are inlets at the intersection that actually go in both directions. So, what we worked into the job, before we did the job, we televised the lines, we found that the line on Lanza was collapsed, and it had blocked up with debris, dirt, and what have you. And we had the line cleaned out, and then we had a repair made to open up that line. And then on Prospect, we found that PSE&G had drilled right through the pipe.
Telephone pole, yeah.
Right in the pipe. And
Thank you,
we had
PS.
that line fixed. And we had a line that rerouted around the utility pole. So we opened up both of those lines. And we televised on either side, opened up the line. The drainage that is put in throughout the city isn't necessarily designed to handle what we refer to as a 10-year storm. Okay? I have to talk to you technically about it, but the idea is that we try to get as much water in the system, and that becomes a case of, do we have enough inlets? Are the inlets thin? Are they undersized? Do we need more inlets? What have you? When the water gets into the pipe, is it able to get out? In the road job, That will get the water off of the road and into the drainage. I saw you the other day, and, and Christine as well. And what we did was, we tried to figure out if the backouts are happening on the Prospect line, on the Lansing line, and both of them. And as best we can determine, the backups are happening. Are you guys laughing about it?
No, no, not, Kevin, we would never laugh at you, no. No.
As best we can determine, the Lanza lines are doing a lot better in terms of being able to figure it out. So right now, I asked my inspector, the Graham, to measure all of the inverts of the storm lines, the sanitary lines, on both Prospect and Lanza, because we're gonna have to cross the sanitary lines in both directions if we add drainage to send more water down land. So we're first ensuring that the storm drains can make it under the complex. And then we're going to come up with a method to do that. And right now, the project limits are, we go up to the intersection, we go around the corner, we stop right on the other side of the crosswalk on your side of Prospect, and the same thing on the other side. If we need to if we are able to do the drainage, we may shorten the project to right where we meet and we're going to come back and we're going to do that work as part of either a separate job or another job. And the reason is that when we went to go do that job, and you heard tonight there's a bond ordinance, we went through the test case last year to see how many lead services there were on the water line. We did 12 test cases, 3 blocks above. We found no lead services. Because if we did all the lead services, it would be 500,000. So we came back, and then we met with the city manager. We found a number of lead services. We just didn't get any of them when we did the test cases. So there's a $175,000 that's coming down through all the extra money. There's another problem. And also it's about a 20% maximum pressure on the public bidding contract that we really can't put it into this job. We just can't. We can't go back, and we're going to come back, and we're going to say it should be part of another job. It's not so simple as saying, it's going to cost $25,000, $30,000, we should get through this job. It becomes an audit finding where the auditor for the city, and I have to let it report, but the auditor for the city.
Okay.
All right.
Just for the public record, Councilman Rigoloso is left at 7:02.
So the auditor has to file with the state. And I don't know what the, there's a lot involved financially.
And I completely
we pictured
understand that. So between my neighbor and I, we pay $22,000 in property tax to live in Garfield. And I've been living here 3 years. So the property value has gone down because of the flooding. If you look on Zillow, the house is listed as a 7 now for flooding for that area. So a 7 out of 10
For flooding.
Yes, for flooding. Yes. And so Zillow now, they run these comps on houses, and even though it's not labeled as a flood zone, it is a high-prone area for flooding. And so Zillow rates these homes, and we're a 7 out of 10.
Well, I can tell you that what our offices do, is we are coming back with a solution that will convey the water down and the revenue. Neither I nor anyone can sit here and say, we will control what's going on the water. Just like the flush pipes, it's clearly mitigated. But the whole downstream system, all the way down to right here, has embedded flooding issues. We are trying to work on a regional solution. That was in the response of the prior message. So we're going to do what we can do now, and we're going to work on a regional solution that is a part of a separate thing. So,
Kevin, do you mind if I chime in? Sorry, and I will just need you guys to like talk separately, just because for the public record.
Yes.
Your neighbor, and I know I've spoken to you in the past, and I saw your, I hope you don't mind, your Oprah request
Yes.
today.
Yes.
But just to update you on that, and we have a majority new council. They are familiar, as you know, right now there's a congressional funding project going on Harrison Avenue that I applied for in 2022, and we obtained $2.4 million for that. Similarly, after I made that application, I made an application to address flooding and drainage issues citywide, primarily in that area. And we were notified last year that we received just under $1 million for that. It was 900,000 and change. So that is earmarked towards us. It has not yet, it's not in our, so how a lot of these fundings work, which is why we have these bond ordinances, we have to lay out the money first, and then once the project is complete to, satisfaction, we get reimbursed. So we have not started that project yet, the drainage project yet, because we need to finish the first one that we obtained for the lead lines, the 2.4 million. It was the first time that we got congressional funding and had to go through their process. You have to submit the design work, a bunch of documents. It is coming to an end. It's out to bid and they're finishing. So literally once we close out that project, I already spoke to Kevin's office, and while he's the only person here tonight, he has so many different departments that I work closely with, and they are already notified that as soon as we're done with that lead line one, they have to pick up and do this drainage one.
Is there a time frame, Ms. Delaney? Or,
Is there a deadline from for the congressional funding? There's not a deadline, but.
no, I'm talking about the because we got to wait for the other project
to
to finish.
finish the lead
What
line
is the time frame of that project finishing so we can?
they're both going to be done, up on Harrison, that's going to be done by August, and here we're going to be done in 30 days.
So just as a heads up, part of your Oprah, I won't have any corresponding documents like invoices or anything like that because we technically didn't get started yet. So just so you know, full transparency.
Thank you.
My name is Darren Nelson. I'm fiance of Maria Marbet.
What was your first name?
Darren.
Darren?
Correct.
And then Nelson. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
So you mentioned that there was 2 additional projects that are coming that are supposed to curtail or try and fix this, the flooding that's taking place. You said that,
There's the fix of sending more water down Lansing. And then the other project is exactly what the city manager just talked about.
right, but you mentioned that you said there were 2, you spoke specifically of 2 projects that were going to start at some point to fix this issue. And my question to you is, as you were talking, you said there's one project which was part of fixing the water down Lansing, and you mentioned something else. You talked for a long time, I kind of got lost, but you mentioned a couple projects. And if you didn't, but you did mention at least one. And my question to you is, when is that supposed to begin? No, you just mentioned when you were talking with the microphone that when she asked about the flooding, you said you took the pole out of the drainage. You mentioned that didn't fit, and you said that didn't fix it. And then you said, so now what we're going to do is, and you mentioned at least one, but I think you mentioned two other projects that are coming that are supposed to fix it. And my question simply is, are there any, so it doesn't seem like you're understanding, or maybe I misheard you. So my question is this: what projects are currently scheduled to begin to fix this issue that has been going on for several years and that we've stood here, we've sent notices for? When is the next project that is going to try and? I know you said that, but those have not fixed the problem. And my question simply is, when is the next project that is supposed to help this scheduled to begin? That's all.
Mr. Nelson, are you referring, I think I just asked that, and I was told after.
Because he didn't mention any, this was before Aaron spoke about the money, the $969,752 to be exact, that was given to the city.
I see what you're saying.
He mentioned that there was funding outside of that there was a project coming up. And so the simple question is this: is there any project that is scheduled as of right now that is designed to fix or help the current issues that the people in this location are experiencing resulting of the flooding?
I think he was referring to the same funding that I spoke on when I interrupted him. I think he was referring to that.
But he said that there were projects that were going to happen after the current projects began.
It is separate, yeah.
And so what is that?
You just asked me if there's anything designed
That's scheduled. You said there are projects that are scheduled to take place, but they can't start because the other projects have to be finished.
It's the congressional funding, the 900 and change.
But that money has not been earmarked for anything, so therefore that means there is nothing currently scheduled that's supposed to fix
It's not scheduled on the books,
And
yes,
so
correct.
has there been research or any sort of investigation to determine what is actually happening to cause this problem and then to create something that's going to resolve the issue?
Let me just come back. I said that we are going to come back with Bloomberg Branding to come up with a solution that puts more water in the Land Avenue system. That's what I told you yesterday.
I wasn't, so just so we clear, I wasn't there yesterday. That wasn't me. We don't all look alike.
Yeah,
Yes.
the other name.
So we are coming back with one or more solutions with the stench to send more water down Land Avenue. That is a proposal we are going to bring back to the mayor and council. I cannot schedule anything that is subject to the approval and authorization of the people who make policies. That's project number one. There's another project which was the 960 some odd thousand. There was a project that was done as a phase one, effectively resulted in a lot of oversized pipe being buried right over here in the former railroad right west of the Garfield High School field. And what I have said back to the city manager is I believe that the best thing to help regionally the entire area consists of increasing the size of the discharge plant and also possibly culvert that is underneath our waterway. And there's a wall inside that we're looking at cutting down. That would increase more flow down out of this area. It would mitigate not only your street, but the entire region. You asked if there are any studies done. There's been some studies done, but not specifically for that group. I personally believe that that would be the next phase that we should look at. The problem with that is it's a very difficult permitting. It will take 6 months to 12 months to get the permit to do that. It takes a lot of hydraulic power, and it will take that permit to be able to
So the people who live in that area don't have 6 or 12 months before the next flooding event happens. And so I let you talk, please let me finish, please, okay? They don't have 6 to 12 months to wait. Every time it rains hard, they have to worry about their basements flooding, the damage that it causes, the money that they have to spend, okay? They pay taxes every single year to this city.
And an 8-month-old baby.
And these are the challenges that they face. I can assure you, Kevin, if this was happening to your home, you would find a fix immediately for it, okay? And that's the energy, that is the commitment that this city and the people who are employed by the city, with you being one of them, need to have. And so this has been brought up time and time again. This isn't new. It's 3 years, and now you're talking 6 to 12 months to get permits. What needs to happen is we need to find a way to fix this area and have a solution within that's going to take less than 6 to 12 months, because you guys have had years. You've known about this for years. This isn't something new that just recently fell on your doorstep. It's been known. And so I understand how money works in government, and this money was given March to 2024, and it takes a while before you can deploy that money. But what it doesn't take time to do is for people who have been in power to be able to say, this has been going on. As an engineer, whoever you are, you're a professional, there needs to be some sort of resolution that has been given. And if not for a long term, there should be some sort of short-term relief or something that is done to help the people who live here to resolve this issue, so they don't have to be up in the window looking and wondering if their house is going to flood at 2 a.m. in the morning. And that's the issue here. It's lack of transparency, because I sat in here and you told me about the poles in the pipe over 4 months ago, sitting right here in this chair. I was sitting right behind you. You even pulled out your iPad. And those things didn't fix the issue. Just less than a week and a half ago, the entire street was flooded, including Lanza. And so there needs to be something done, and this needs to be treated with the urgency that it deserves. If you'd like to comment, you're free to.
Kevin?
Mayor, I would just say that the residents have heard loud and clear. You know, I don't know that, I mean, Kevin, of course, can speak for himself, but I don't know what else there is. I mean, clearly the residents have been heard loud and clear.
Yeah, Maria and Darren, you've definitely been heard loud and clear, and I understand your frustration. I truly do. I deal with certain issues in my area where I live, but if there's any way that we can expedite this, and I know what you're saying, we're going to search every avenue in doing so, and we're going to also discuss a short-term fix before we resolve it fully. And we'll get back to you, I promise you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to just come up to the mic? State your name and address, please.
Good evening, everyone. 149 Midland Avenue, Garfield, New Jersey. How are you people? A lot of stuff going on in this city, huh? It's awesome. Traffic, trucks, garbage, amazing. Quality of life, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm here tonight. And anybody in the city, don't be home complaining. Anonymous, come over here and face them. They don't bite. Hey, people, humans. All right, Erin, congratulations.
Thank you.
God bless you. You know what I'm talking about. Great. But anyway, I got my list. I'll be short. I'm going to take that long. Now, the new business on that's the name of the company, 325 Midland Avenue, right next to CVS. No sign. What kind of company?
Oh, that was Snowball
Development.
Huh?
The ones that knocked down the Bat Cave to build.
The one that is going to bring a lot of trailers, more traffic, and more BS.
Yes, there are.
To Midland Avenue.
Huh?
Basically, we're hot, man. Awesome. Now, this is going to be a problem, really. Well, it's already a problem. If those trucks, trailers come from that place and make a right on Midland and try to go to Monroe, I saw that. There's no way. And if a truck from the IWS, the landfill that we have, the Great Plains One Garbage, Atlantic Street, Commerce. Go there, a lot of garbage. Imagine, I saw that. This trailer coming, no way. Truck IWS coming, there's no, everybody got stuck there. The corner, that poor lamp pole in Monroe, 3 times already in 6 months or 8 months. Every time that they make a turn, they hit that lamp pole. Not the pole, the electric pole, the lamp, or the one with the lights. All the time.
The decorative lighting you're talking about?
The one in Monroe, you make it right, the lamp pole that is in the side, on the sidewalk, not the pole, the electrical pole.
Yeah, no,
That lamp, I feel bad for him. 3 times already in 8 months. Check the police. So this is going to be an issue that is going to be bad.
is it a traffic light you're talking about, a
Yeah,
street
you know
light?
that Monroe,
Yeah,
the light.
it's a traffic light, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the traffic light is in another pole. It's just light.
The black street light?
The decorative light, the decorative lighting, okay, that's what,
All the time. So it's going to be really difficult. It's bad. And you know what's going on with the trucks, up and down all day. And I feel bad for the noise, because I think that guy drive all over Garfield. It's so bad that vibrate, the walls in your house vibrate every time that the revolution of the car goes.
Multiple.
So I mean, I remember my time, but no, not that. All right, that's one issue over there with the traffic. I don't know if the police is going to work on that, because it's going to be a mess when that place open for real and those trailers start coming down. I don't know what kind of route they're going to get. If the police could somehow, no, you got to go this way, because we're going to have problems. I could see that for a fact.
I can forewarn the county too, since Midland's a county road, their engineer can implement like certain,
Yeah. But it's about the traffic. It's about the trailers coming.
times.
I remember an article in the paper, and, you know, somebody's going to say you shouldn't say this, but I don't care.
It's gonna be-
They were bragging about that place opening up and saying, oh, we're close to all the major highways. You know, who wants more tractor trailers in this city? You can't move.
You know, it's too much traffic around.
I agree.
And that's nothing. Wait until all these buildings start popping up. Engineer, Mr. Howell, we're going to have to re-instruct the whole city, because it's the development that is going on is not going to hold. All the pipes there are old, very old. I've been here 30 years. So you could be somebody else, but not me. And it's bad. It's going to be bad. Wait until all that water start coming down. When all the people that are going to move to Garfield, the great city of Garfield, and start flushing at the same time. How nice that. Nice. I'm sorry if I've been sarcastic, but that's me. Anyway, there's an issue with the traffic again. I noticed that on my side, Midland Avenue, Mondays, I have to park, you can park from 8 to 12 because the sweeper comes, right? And everybody's good at my block. Down there, everybody move their car. But I noticed across the street, on Tuesday, they're supposed to not park from 12 to 4, right? So if I follow the law, if I respect the police like I always do, I love them, what is it that from 12 to 3 o'clock, this car parked across the street we're not supposed to park because the sweeper is coming, no tickets. And I have videos, but I'm not gonna go into that.
Sometimes I will say, I can't, attest to whether or not a ticket was issued, but parking enforcement does mail tickets. They're not always necessarily on the vehicle overnight, like for their safety.
No, I'm talking during the day.
Mail.
I'm talking about the sweeper. When the sweeper comes to clean up from 12 to 4, they're not
Okay, so not
supposed to.
overnight.
That's different,
Got it.
not overnight.
Yeah, but parking authority also issues
do mail.
those.
Yeah.
No. They have to pass and give them the ticket. That's the way the traffic for the sweeper when they clean the street. So I'm wondering why. Across the street, there's a business there. The guy came over there. More nail salons, more barbershops. Like we need that. Can we put a cap on that in the city?
We're working on that.
Because it's ridiculous, I understand.
I have it
Nothing
in my-
against the people who work,
I have it in my
don't get me
phone.
wrong. I know they have to do a living. But you know what it is? that you need your parking. I have I have a driveway for one car. So I have 2 or 3 cars. So I need 2 in the front of the house. So I understand that they got to work, but you have 4 people working, right? In that place, they bring 4 cars. Listen, park someplace else so the customer could come in and out. Don't be taking the people's spots. During the day, it's difficult. I noticed that. And I'm not going to take it, because I call the cops. No, you're going to give them tickets of these people right now. And I'm going to stand right here, because I'm the type of guy, I don't go behind people talking. If I want to say something, I go straight to you. If you don't like it, fine. If you listen, fine too. That's the way I am. I don't go behind people and not testing. No, I go right to your face and tell you like it is. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. They yield on the monument. The yield, Aaron. That yield over there, I know that Mr. Diaz is there with his business. I understand. But he needs to follow the law too. Anybody who is in that block needs to follow the law like I do and my neighbors and everybody else. You can't be parking all day in the pump. And I understand, nothing wrong with the guy. Because I went and talked to him when he opens. Look around, no problem. People start saying, complaining about the front, with all this stuff that he put in the sidewalk, which is okay because he do it right. He do the right thing. Nothing against him. He's doing the right thing. But it's dangerous because when the people stop in the corner, for you to eat, you have to put your car to see. You can't see somebody's coming. Very dangerous.
There shouldn't be anything on the sidewalks.
Well, okay.
Are you referring to?
You know who I'm talking
Oh,
about.
the parking spot over there you're talking about, right? Or,
I'm talking about the business that is there,
yeah,
that they park in the corner
yeah.
of that hill. There's a pump, water pump there, and you cannot be unloading.
You mean
too
a
much-
fire hydrant, right?
A fire hydrant, right. And I understand, listen, nothing against the guy, don't get me wrong. If he's listening, okay, you know what I live. But listen, no, if I follow, I respect, everybody respect.
Hey, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You're saying that the gentleman that runs that store is parking there?
Mr. Diaz, you know who he is?
No, I know who you're talking about, but
Well,
he's,
he parks because he needs to unload his stuff, and I understand. He needs to unload the material,
Yeah.
the shares, all the stuff, and I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. It's that it's dangerous. Somebody's gonna get hurt there. You know those lights by the yield?
yeah.
Those flashlights, those things, at least so people could see it, because people don't see it. It's been a lot. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I hope not, but I want to avoid, because I got hit 3 times. My car, 3 times. 2 of them was total, and it's there. And accidents happen, and there people come. Or they yield, they don't yield. The other one comes, hit him in the back, throw into the other people.
There is a yield sign there, but they don't stop.
Yeah, it should.
No, it's got to
should be a
yield,
stop
but
sign.
the problem is that it's difficult. People, it's difficult. Yeah, and I don't want to be a pain, but I don't want nothing to happen because it happens to me.
Okay.
My neighbor across the street too. The car got hit too, and this is accidents that have been happening for the past 2 or 3 years, and it's it's posted there by the police. All right, so those are the things. IWS. Same thing, trucks making left and right, they do whatever the heck they want.
Not getting any better over there, Jesus?
Well, they got a little better. They did something, but it still smells. They did something on the roof after 20 years, me busting your shops over here coming. So that means that place was really bad for a long time, and they finally fixed it. And they put a new ventilation, so that way the contamination comes out pure. Yeah, that's all it is. They cut the smell, but the contamination's there. It don't make any difference. That place is already too much, more than 40 years. I don't know. I don't really try to understand. And people say, you bought the house there. Yeah, but I bought the house 20 years ago, and it wasn't like this. It was quietly and very nice. the way they were doing business.
Yeah.
So now it's a whole different ballgame. Now we got all these people coming to the city, all this overdevelopment, all this water, and all these things that's going to happen with our structure. We're going to have to change everything, man. It's tough. Have fun, bro.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I
Thank
love you.
You do know it was prior to us.
Yeah, no, I know, but thank you for staying and listening, guys. I
All right.
appreciate it. Erin, one more thing, please. Please. I need 4 signs, and I'm going to give you the spots. The 25-mile speed limit. Please, I
on
asked you
Midland,
before.
I know it's county
County.
road though, so I sent it to the county and they
You know what?
ignored my
I'm going to
request.
go to the county. I'm going to get the sign. I'm going to put it on myself. You arrest me, send me to the county. Send me to the
I have no issue with that.
We didn't
As
see
a
nothing.
city, I don't, you know.
Really? Because I was going to buy them, the signs, and put them up.
No,
sure
immediately after
the
that
county-
meeting, I had the email, they shot me down, they said no.
No.
They
how's
told
that
you no?
possible?
Yeah.
Really?
Nah, okay, now you got me.
We didn't see nothing, Jesus.
So I'm going to buy the signs, and I'm going to put them up.
I
You heard me, county? I'm going to put the 25-mile speed limit. You come and arrest me.
Where's the entry?
All right? Is that tape? Record it? Thank you so much. Love you guys. Fix the city, boss. Mr. Bauer.
From where to where?
Got a lot of work to do, man. A lot.
Sixth Street? Okay. It actually probably not, what is the speed limit, 40?
25.
20, oh, it is 25. And there's no signs
There
there?
are.
Oh, dude, we got to put more in. Oh, okay, I remember. Yeah.
He requested more and they said.
You know what? Listen, Ms. Delaney is very good with getting on top of things. But you know what? I'm gonna also send something to the county, certain individuals, and see what happens, just so they could say that they weren't notified. Yeah.
I was never there.
Anybody else from the public have any comments or concerns?
I think we got it.
If no, I'm going to close the public section for comments. I'm closing it now, and I'm going to open it up for, I guess, mayor and council comments. Mr. Deputy Mayor Kane, you got any comments?
Anyone before me? No. I was gonna make it really super quick. Renee, thanks for coming down. We're gonna address it. We tell the people all the time, if we don't know about the information, we can't address anything. So you could keep complaining on Facebook. We don't know if you live in Garfield, don't live in Garfield. They're anonymous profiles. Come down for 10 minutes to a council meeting. Let us know. Send us an email. Do something. The flooding issue, they left. I wish they were still here. I really think we should expedite that as quick as possible, especially if the permits take 6 to 12 months.
Or at least do a temporary fix until.
Jesus, it's no secret that even before we ran for council, we've had nothing but complaints about that property that you're complaining about. We voiced our concerns to the planning board and told them that we don't think that should be built there. Not only because of the Bat Cave, the educational place, which was a wonderful place, but because we said there's horrible traffic on Midland Avenue. They said they got a traffic study from the county, and the county said there's no traffic. And we said, BS, we live here. We know how much traffic's on Midland Ave. They don't listen to us. It got done anyway. There's no secret that this is a very old town, and it's not equipped for the overdevelopment that has happened or is planning on happening in the future. We've never had that be a secret, and that we are opposed to it. And the things do happen. You know, the lead lines are old lines. They need to be replaced. It's just unfortunate, now is the time when everything's breaking down over the last couple of years. And we're finding out as we're finding out. That's it. There's a lot of issues, and we're tackling them as quick as humanly possible. That being said, on July 4th, we have a picnic at Columbus Park from 11 to 4. If you don't know about it, please show up. It's going to be an awesome time. If you don't know about it, that means you did not download the app, so download the Garfield app called Garfield Living for everybody who is watching, well, 12 of you at home. Have a great weekend. Stay cool, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, I apologize Ms. Raymond, Deputy Mayor, Mayoral Advisor, do you have any comments? Are you still there?
No, not really, just everybody stay cool.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to go over what Kevin just did, but I probably will anyway.
You know what?
Go
Wait a
ahead.
minute,
Go
Mayor.
go ahead.
You know what? Your electric's off again.
Sorry?
Our electric is off again.
Okay. PSC&G is,
Been in and out of the city
Yeah.
all day.
Oh, okay. Okay, just so that you know.
all right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll start off by commending our entire council for passing some of these ordinances today, specifically the ones that benefit the citizens here for the quality of life. And I'm specifically speaking about the, the garbage, recycling. I don't think it's right that, a van should drop off 10 people and they go rummaging through your garbage. And I went over the concerns, how it wakes up the children, the dogs bark 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. If they get permission from the city or with some kind of permit or whatever, or the homeowner, like our council said, I have no problem with that, although I don't think that's going to happen. Quality of life with these buildings in this city, I commend us for passing that, the entire council and our city manager and our attorney too. Because we've been going around the city looking at some of these buildings, and it's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't even walk up on the porch of some of these buildings. So hopefully now we can do what we need to do. I like what Ms. Delaney said in reference to I noticed the Greater Bergen, this is our 5th year, is the final year. Are we have a chance to opt back in there or no?
I know you had asked me to look into it at the last meeting, or someone did. I'll be honest, I didn't get to it yet.
Okay.
There are some grants that allow you to reapply for a second term. I'm not sure if this one does, but I will follow up.
Okay,
My apologies.
but I like what you said about the bike racks over there and the speaker with some music playing there. That's something that I like, and I'm sure we all like. I just wish, because I met with them, some of those individuals from Greater Bergen, I just wish they kept up with their planters and the garbage cans that they put up there. They did admit to me when I met with them that they got to get a little better with that, but.
And I'll remind them too, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. And again, Renee, I want to commend you. Come here. I always said to everybody, come to the meetings, hold us all accountable for what we do or the lack of what we do. And like Deputy Mayor Kane said, if we don't hear it, so it's a shame. But there are times, and this happened when I was on the Board of Ed, we were the last ones to hear about an issue. And come to the meeting. Forget about going on Facebook, because half the people are, they're not even real profiles. Come to us. We got thick skin. We got wide shoulders. We can take it. Trust me. Yeah, well, you know what? I do. I apologize for him. It happens. I think he should have just maybe talked to you afterwards. I didn't take it the way he did, but again, he lives next door. No excuses. I didn't even know anything about handicap or anything. So, but that's that. And Renee, you know how I feel. I love when you share your concerns, and with the loud mufflers. Listen, we're all 100% in agreement with that. And like Maria and Darren that were here with the problem over there on Prospect, I agree, and I said it before. Mr. Boswell, if there's any way, shape, or form that we can come up with something while we, to mediate it to a lesser degree before we get these monies in our hands to do the project, I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure the residents there would. Other than that, I'd like to say, stay cool, have a great weekend. No, actually, it's only Tuesday. But, congratulations to the high school that's graduating as we speak. And that's it. Over to you, Ms. City Manager, if you like.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I hadn't planned on saying anything, but since I got put on the spot, congratulations to our graduates. Yesterday, I attended the middle school graduation. It was a wonderful ceremony, so congratulations to them. And as the mayor just said, to the high school graduates, of which the ceremony is concurrently taking place. Aside from that, I encourage residents to email me if they have any issues. I'm happy to help, if and when I can help. So thank you for coming out. And with that being said, Mayor, I can just entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Commercial park.